I started off in the mortgage industry back in July 2016. So coming up on 10 years, been doing some reflecting, some looking back. So started off in the industry in 2016 doing reverse mortgages. Super interesting experience. So you're dealing with senior citizens 62 years or older, very niche product. Was a great solution for some seniors and not great for some. So interesting trying to sell that product. Did that for a while. In I believe it was like October 2017, somewhere in that time frame. FHA, HUD make changes to the reverse mortgage program. Make all these cuts to how much money the seniors can receive. So essentially, just kind of dried up the market for the most part. Made it a lot harder. Made it less appealing. So that company that I work for starts to pivot. We start doing a lot of VA mortgages, FHA conventional, just kind of your traditional residential purchase. So that experience taught me a lot, got my feet wet in the industry. And then sometime, 2018 range, started dating my now wife. So she starts thinking about her next steps, gets into her master's program at Northwestern up in Chicago. We'd only been dating for a few months. But anyway, ended up deciding, hey, I could use an adventure. I'll just come to Chicago with you. So ended up going to Chicago in 2018, did mortgages there, self-sourced all my business, meaning that, I'm responsible for gathering all my leads, all that stuff. Really didn't know a single soul in Chicago. So definitely a challenge, was doing networking events several times a week, just really grinding and, really kind of started to pay off after a while. And then 2020 rolls around, and then we've got COVID, right? So interest rates tank, all these people trying to get into purchase, to refinance. It was just madness. Industry had more capacity than what it could take, so loans were taking forever to close. All across the board, any mortgage company was kind of dealing with all the same issues at that point. So go through all that experience and just craziness. And then, she graduates from PA school during COVID. And we're like, what are we going to do? We were in Chicago, love Chicago, but there was absolutely nothing to do. Everything was pretty much locked down. We're like, okay. So we got up, decided to move to St. Louis. And essentially I start my career, not completely over, but almost over again, right? So got to meet new realtor partners, new people. So we moved there August of 2020. So I remember back in July of 2020, we had gone under contract on a home, got engaged, and got a dog all within a 3-day period. So it was wild times. So anyway, kind of starting back over during COVID in St. Louis, but most everything was Zoom, so business was going well, still booming. And then, later, a couple years later, inflation starts to hit, rates climb, market dries up. All those people that got into the mortgage industry in 2020 are pretty much gone by that point. Everything starts to kind of slow down. So, man, it's just been a wild ride. I don't even know the purpose of this video, but share a little bit about my journey. There's been some great years in this industry. There's been some rough years and everything in between. And we'll see where this next chapter takes me. And here's to 10 years.